We in the armor. We in the armor.
Draft week. Here it is on the On Barn podcast. Thank you for joining us this week. I'm fired up. I hope that clap wasn't too loud into the mic, but it is draft week. I am locked in. This is like the first year I have picks in our dynasty league. I also I don't know why, obviously doing this podcast now that obviously I'm not playing baseball anymore. I'm just way more locked into this shit. And I'm super jacked up. Kind of didn't expect to start the show like this, but you want to lead us off with the breaking news here from the NFL. We literally just kicked it off about 51 seconds ago.
Yeah.
This happened maybe.
It happened.
Where's the
what
7 minutes ago?
I was gonna say 5 minutes ago. It finally broke. So we all knew it was gonna happen, but Rodgers is officially a New York Jet. Not gonna lie, I think we gave up probably a little bit more than what I thought we were gonna have to give up. But again, man, like to get Rodgers in that building with the rest of the team we have around him, I mean, Jet fans, if you're not excited about this, you're just beyond miserable with your lives at this point.
Yeah, no, this is exciting. I'm taking a look here at the This is the first time I'm looking at the Packers get on the on the app, and I would agree. I would agree with what you just said. They probably overpaid a little bit.
I would say a hair, but again, to get it done, I think
just because literally the only way he doesn't play 65% of the plays is literally if he gets hurt.
What's funny, so Vinny texted me right before we got on here with exactly what we just said. And I said, how funny would it be if he played 64% of the
I mean, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. Like just goes down with like a bruised knee, like a bruised foot, misses like 4-6 weeks, then leads him to a Super Bowl, but he plays 64% of the snaps. That'd be crazy.
Honestly, do it again at this point, right? I mean, as a Jet fan now, coming in every Sunday, you've got Rodgers, and I get it. Last year he wasn't.
You guys already won.
Yeah.
You guys are literally already won 100%. Based on all the hype, based on just how excited you get to be leading up to this season. You guys already won, like for sure.
Real quick, I'm just gonna put out the the package. So the Jets get Rodgers, the Packers number 15 overall in this draft, and then a 2023 fifth rounder. So their fifth round pick in this draft. Packers then, in return, get pick number 13, 2023 second round pick, a sixth round pick, and a conditional 2024 second round pick that, to what you alluded to, becomes a first rounder if Rodgers plays 65% of the plays. My thing with this too is if Rodgers plays over 65% of the plays this year, to me, the Jets are picking at the back end of the first round anyways. So the conditional 2 that could turn into a 1, I'm not overly concerned about. And then 2, like only moving back 2 slots in this year's draft, to me, to get Rodgers in the building, not that big of a deal.
Yeah, no, that's completely true what you just said, which is if he plays 65% of the snaps, you guys are probably making the playoffs, therefore picking at the back end.
Right.
Therefore, let's say that moves up to a 1, it's basically a second at that point. Yeah. So it is what it is. It is what it is. And it's not like you gave up this year's. You know what I mean? You just had to switch spots essentially.
And it's two slots.
Yeah, who cares?
To me, that's
who cares?
On top of that, right? So we give up the 2023 second round pick, number 42. Well, we also have the 43rd pick. So it's really not that big of a deal. Obviously, we had to get rid of Elijah Moore in order to get that pick.
Oh, so you guys go back to back now?
We did go back to back until this just happened.
Gotcha.
So, and that 43rd pick was in a trade with Cleveland, right, to get Elijah Moore. So,
gotcha.
And, we give up Elijah Moore, who showed in his rookie year he's a dynamic playmaker. But bottom line is he didn't want to be there, And if you're a year 2 guy who's acting that way, like, see you later, buddy. Have fun in Cleveland.
Yeah, no, this is.
I think it's a good move. Great move.
Yeah. I mean, are you kidding me? I would be hyped if I was you guys.
100%.
I would be hyped. That division's crazy. The AFC is nuts.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Arm Barn Podcast. If you like G Fuel or would like to try the official drink of esports, use the code TheArmBarn at gfuel.com today. For my caffeine people, there's going to be some awesome products like the energy tubs and the energy cans. And then for my no caffeine people, there's also going to be some great products for hydration. So check that out today at gfuel.com and use the code TheArmBarn.
I would just, like, don't get me wrong, like, if I was a really good NFL quarterback, maybe I wouldn't give a shit, but, like, just on paper, I would much rather be a quarterback in the NFC right now than in the AFC. Obviously, like, for people like Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he really gives a rat's ass. No. You know what I mean? They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, it's crazy, the difference in QB quality from the NFC over to the AFC.
The AFC right now, you could probably make an argument that has the best crop of quarterbacks in one division in potentially ever in the NFL.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Like, the difference is crazy. Like, I don't even know what it actually is because this isn't something that we did, but and just in terms of, I would bet like what, 7 out of the top 10, 6 out of the top 10, 5, like at least.
Yeah, I mean,
probably more, right?
Maybe even more.
I mean, you know, our lists are mostly AFC at least. I mean, our lists, but you know, people put in bullshit.
Yeah, but dude, even like the bullshit ones that they'd put in, like people, like some idiots will still put Russell, right? Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that's so.
But even
like,
if they
ridiculous.
do, even if they do, still in the AFC. So it's like, you know, the AFC right now is just loaded at quarterback.
Yeah.
But just one quick thing too, right? Because we're going to talk about Rodgers on the Jets. Is like last year, if their defense can play like they did.
Oh yeah, well, this is going to be a main. This is going to be a main topic of discussion everywhere now.
If the Jets would have scored 19 points a game last year, on average, they would have had 11 wins.
Yeah, and I mean, if you guys,
I mean,
yeah, you guys, no, it's going to be legit. It's going to be legit. I like, you don't want to hype it up too much, just because, especially because you just want to see it. But like, I mean, the ceiling, let's go there. The ceiling there is none. Literally, there is no ceiling, I think. I think you guys are going to be legit. And I'm curious to see what you guys do in the draft now.
Yeah.
Like, let's see. Like, what the hell? Maybe the Jets will now kind of just give a big to the Packers and get them a weapon, or, you know, whatever. Who knows what they're going to do?
Wouldn't surprise me.
I know.
Wouldn't surprise me. So.
All right, just quickly, this is going to be 100% NFL. We're going to do a complete draft special here today. We'll go through our mock drafts. We'll talk about, you know, obviously our expert opinion here, of course.
For sure. Well, hey, I'll be honest. Half the people on TV that make money doing this crap are completely stupid and make horrible takes.
Yeah, even the Colts, either the Colts GM or somebody was saying it today that, you know, none of the mock drafts get it right ever. Literally ever. So who knows? Everybody's lying right now. Who knows what's actually going to happen? But also, I definitely prepared a little bit, but we'll go into it here in a second.
Listen, I prepared too. I'm just letting everyone know, right? With this trade break, and we are going to have to make adjustments on the fly here. So.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be all right. It's literally, honestly, I'm going to probably put the same two people. Honestly, I'm going to put the same two people.
Most likely.
Because they just switched, right?
13 and 15. So the Jets are now at 15, and Green Bay will be at 13.
Yeah, you know what? It honestly could. I guess it could affect it a little bit.
Affect it for sure.
Yeah, I'll talk about it. That'll be easy once we get there. But before we get into the draft, couple quick things. Been locking it in on that horrible loss by the Rangers the other night.
Bad.
Like, that was so bad. That was so bad.
Should have taken it for sure.
But what do they play? Do they play tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So they play tonight. In baseball, a couple things that I just wanted to bring up this week.
Attention high school baseball players, parents of high school players, and coaches of high school baseball. The Baseball Factory has a national showcase tour in all 50 states. These national showcases serve as a qualifier for Baseball Factory events. To get 10% off these national showcases, go to baseballfactory.com and use code CoachCalandra10.
Pete Alonso, 10 bombs already, right?
Max Muncy now, he's got 11, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Pete Alonso's going off. Max Muncy's going off. Garrett Cole is absolutely shoving, dude. He is shoving. I was like, holy shit. His stuff looks electric. Did you see the Drew Maggi?
Yeah.
I think I'm getting that right, but that'd be sick if he gets his debut after 13 years in the minor leagues. I don't know how he did that, to be honest. I don't know how he did that.
Maybe he had a first good contract where he could live off of his signing bonus for.
True. But also, once you get to a certain point, I mean, he's probably making. Listen, I don't know what he's actually making.
Right.
I'm sure I don't think you could even find this stuff out, but I'm sure he's making 60. He's probably making 50,
Right.
60 a year for obviously during the season. So if he's doing something, during the off season, if he can do lessons or pocket another 40, 50K, he's probably doing okay either way. So, but still crazy. 13 years of grinding it in the minor leagues, especially he hasn't been with Pittsburgh the whole time, has he?
I'm not sure about that.
I'm not sure either, but if he's been in Pittsburgh the whole time, that's crazy because that is not the greatest situation in terms of like minor leagues overall. Not the greatest situation in Pittsburgh.
No, and then the fact too that team has been trash for years, and he still hadn't been able to crack it.
I know
until now.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Now they're playing well. It's wild.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope he gets in there. They got to get him in AD. They got to get him in AD.
They will.
Yeah. It is crazy. Speaking of Pittsburgh and the Pirates, it is crazy how going there. Anybody from my program, anybody from the Baseball Factory who listens to this, because honestly, some of the numbers are definitely these kids. Don't take this the wrong way. Don't take this the wrong way because it's still a beautiful facility, still great complex, unbelievable thing. But to be honest, it's probably the worst one that I've been to in the minor leagues.
Which is crazy. I thought it was great.
It's beautiful.
It's awesome.
It's beautiful. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. And then I go to everywhere else, and you're like, oh dang! Now you can see why people say, oh, they're getting paid the word. They're getting paid, and they don't get any of the good stuff. So yeah, no, Pittsburgh. It is not the greatest spring training place, but overall, in terms of the facility, in terms of the people too, the people are fantastic there. Yeah. So no disrespect to Pirate City by any means. But Drew Smiley too, that was bad. That was bad. We're not gonna even talk about, but I just wanted to bring up the fact if you haven't seen it, go take a look at the Drew Smiley perfect game thing. It was tough. Game that ended in the 8th. Yeah, the perfect game ended in the 8th. Last thing, and then it's all NFL. Ryan Garcia
no.
gets knocked out.
Do one more thing. It's not gonna be the last thing. Last baseball thing, real quick.
What?
The Max Scherzer thing is total bullshit.
Oh,
dude.
I forgot.
Total bullshit.
I forgot.
Clown show, and that
I forgot.
That umpire's a joke. He's a joke.
Dude. Yeah, it was that shit was so stupid that I didn't even like. It literally didn't even cross my mind to talk about it because I know
$10,000 fine. I mean, again, $10,000 for him is chump change, but it's the principle. I mean, it's a joke.
100% the principle. He literally swore on his own kid's life.
Bro, he literally cleaned his hand and followed everything that they said. And all he did was rosin, sweat, and then the alcohol pads too. And yes, I've seen all the breakdowns that everyone keeps doing. It does get super sticky.
Well, Trevor Bauer. Dude, I've literally I've done rosin and it's sticky as shit. I used to do it inside my batting gloves, so that way it wouldn't get wet and inside my batting gloves. And it gets sticky as shit.
You know who did a good breakdown was freaking Jerry Blevins on SNY.
Dude, Trevor Bauer literally set up his phone years back. I'm talking years ago and did this.
That's a good breakdown in terms of how to do it. What I'm saying is Jerry Blevins broke down the fact that it's not Scherzer's fault. It's none of these pitchers' fault. The ball that the MLB uses is so much more slick than everywhere else. So then you're having all these dudes throwing 102 miles an hour, and they can't control it. So obviously they're trying to freaking get more, tack on their hands and the ball so they can control it better. So
it's true. Those balls are slick as shit.
Yeah, they are. You can notice it as soon as you take them out. Even when they work them, they're still more slick than all the other levels.
And let alone, let's say you were to just go out, let's say the ball's just rubbed up, however they do it, and you go out there, nothing, no rosin, nothing, and you're sweating. dude, that thing is literally gonna feel
100%.
like it's gonna feel like it's almost like freaking buttered up.
Yes.
Honestly, that's what it's gonna feel like if you don't have any rosin. So yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the hell's going on. They're being so stupid, and it's honestly typical baseball. Just
They can't
like
get out of their own way.
they're so bad. It's crazy. They literally don't do any like the little things right. So therefore, it'll never be what it should be.
100%.
But yeah, Ryan Garcia got knocked out. Honestly, like not too shocking in my opinion.
No.
But I wouldn't have been shocked if he would have popped him either because he's got some hands for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, weird dynamic now. And so I don't know. I know you're not like huge on TikTok, but it's like a very weird dynamic. Like I don't know.
I heard everyone's talking a lot of crap about him.
Because yeah, I mean,
it's like, dude, have you ever been crushed in the freaking, with a body shot?
Like right in the, what is that, the spleen?
Yeah.
Or yeah, you got him in the spleen,
hit him
right?
in the spleen area. Yeah.
And he tried too. Like people said, the announcer even said like it was even like that he backed up and he stayed, and then he realized he was done.
Most of those people that are talking all that smack have never been in a physical altercation, have never been hit.
No, they couldn't take that punch. They couldn't take that punch with the vest on.
100%.
Like like a normal human. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Normal human beings cannot take one of those punches where he took it with the vest on. So yeah, no, I hate that. I hate that side of TikTok when people are like especially in fighting sports. I would never, and obviously we did what we did growing up, but like I would literally never speak to anybody who's wearing punches in that way. In terms of the fight itself, of course you can comment on it, but in terms of like being a bitch because he took it in the ribs and then couldn't continue, come on now.
Every guy that gets in the cage, ring, whatever.
Doesn't matter
what it is.
Here. Gotta tip your cap.
If you get tuned up and have a horrible performance, you still got in that cage. And again, all these freaking soy boys out there that want to run their mouth have never been in a physical altercation, probably ever.
Yeah, speaking of those TikTok motherfuckers, if anybody wants to fucking get in the ring with me and Rough and Rowdy, I'm fucking calling you out right now, motherfuckers. TikTok bitches, I'll fucking wreck your shit, boy. Yeah. That was my call out. TikTok clip of the week right here. Fuck.
Do what you gotta do, man.
Could you imagine? Rough and Rowdy. Boy, what's good?
Hey, now that you're all jacked up, let's do it.
All right, NFL mock draft.
All right, you get to go first.
I feel like we'll probably have some major differences.
Yeah, for sure. So we basically.
So
how we did?
Do you want to go like my pick, your pick, your like I'm saying like back and forth with each pick, or do we go through your mock draft then we go through mine?
Back and forth. Talk about.
Cool.
It. All right, you want to kick it off?
Yeah. So, boom. With the first overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select QB out of Alabama, Bryce Young. I feel like it's pretty consensus right now, but what do you got? You too?
I was more along initially for a while, the CJ Stroud.
Me too.
I just think, again, he's a bigger dude. He still put up really good numbers. But all the intel, I would say, for now is pointing towards Bryce Young. So I went with Bryce Young at 1-1 as well.
And now that people went from CJ Stroud to Bryce Young, Thursday, the Carolina Panthers will select Will Levis, number 1 overall. Or for Anthony Richardson.
That's like Hendon Hooker.
That'd be crazy. But yeah, no, I think Bryce Young, just based on everything. I mean, what's that test that they do, the S2 or something?
98 out of 100.
Yeah, I mean, 98 and CJ Stroud got a 16. Is that 18, true?
But I was actually, before we got on air here, I did hear, and the dude showed up on the McAfee show. So in terms of that information getting leaked, for all of the numbers that got leaked, the dude from S2 said that he had to speak to his attorneys and GMs, and basically they can't comment on certain things right now because it was a total leak. So he said, though, all he can say is that at this point, for the list that got released, at least 2 of them, the scores are not what they really are.
Ooh, okay.
So, again, he can't comment on it because this is supposed to be stuff that's kept on the down low, kind of, in the know stuff, right, for those individuals making the selections. But it did get leaked. So, but that's this time of year, though.
Okay, so but hypothetically speaking here, if he actually did get an 18 on that, like that's not like you can't do that.
No, I agree. You can't do that.
You can't do that. No, don't get me wrong. Would I take it into like the ultimate consideration? Maybe
Right.
not, but like it's still crazy. But yeah, we'll see what the Panthers do. But all right, number 2, what do you got?
At 2, I went with C.J. Stroud. So with the
Really?
Texans,
You're
I
sticking
am
with
sticking
it.
with it. I think it's a lot of smoke and mirrors right now. I think the only thing I could think is that maybe I don't know if it's them so much or it could be them behind the scenes trying to drum up a little bit of noise that they are not going to go to him or one of these other top QBs, so that maybe if someone comes up and gives them a ridiculous trade offer, that they can then sit back and try and get one of those top 2 guys next year. Because next year's
Next
QB
year.
class is significantly more loaded.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I'm
No,
sure we'll
I
get into
agree.
at some point. But so I still went with C.J. Stroud though, because if the Texans are making that pick, I find it hard to believe they're going to pass on that guy, who in their dome could light it up. I mean, he's by far to me the most accurate passer in this draft class, and I think if you put him where he's playing 8 games a year at minimum, indoors, actually 9 at minimum, right? Because he's going to be playing against Indy in one away game. So you give him 9 games indoors, I think he could be pretty decent for that franchise.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I don't have him at
Who
2.
you got?
I got Will Anderson,
Okay.
Alabama. I'm going Alabama, 1-2.
Okay.
I don't know if that's even ever happened,
It
but I
hasn't.
went yeah, I went so you went Stroud. Boom. Okay, you went Stroud, I went Will Anderson there. All right.
At number 3.
Would you
Well, I think you get to go first on this one.
Okay, so I did. This is a trade here. I mean, it's pretty. Pretty. I feel like everybody's kind of been going with this. I did Arizona to Tennessee
Okay.
and C.J. Stroud at this number 3 pick to Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, with this one, with the Cardinals here, I had also thought about the same trade, but then I said, you know what? I think with where they're at, I think they're going to take who they view as the best player, and they're going to just go Will Anderson.
Will
So I
Anderson?
went Will Anderson
Yeah.
at 3. Again, I think the trade could happen, but I also think the Cardinals are in a situation where they need so much. They're going to take the best guy. And then again, if Kyler's out a bunch and, next year comes around and they then could get a top pick, I think you could see a total regime change out here in Arizona.
Yeah, agreed. It could be a
Yeah.
mess personally this year for the Arizona Cardinals, but I think the reason why I think Arizona's like doesn't see for them.
Yeah.
I'm saying for them in particular, they may not be able to get Will Anderson, obviously, or one of their guys. But I think if they can get enough in return, so if they feel like they get enough in return, I think they'll do that. So that way they still have that first round pick, Tennessee's, and then they'll kind of help, maybe get some more draft capital or somebody else.
I completely agree. Like literally the only reason I did not put that trade in my mock here, it was because I figured that you were going to put it in yours, and I didn't want everything to be identical. So.
Yeah, well, I don't think things are going to be identical.
I don't think they're going to be identical, but I think right there, to me, that was just an easy trade to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Now, if draft night comes around, that happens. Yeah, I think.
All right, what do you got here? You got the Colts, or is this
Colts,
me?
It's me. So at 4 with the Colts, I went Anthony Richardson.
See, we're completely different
and
right here.
I'll tell you why I went with him. So Colts new head coach, right, came over from Philly. I think it's Shane Steichen, right? Worked with Jalen Hurts. Obviously, we've seen what Jalen Hurts can do. I think physically, Anthony Richardson is faster, bigger, more athletic, can throw the ball for like everything, right? Now, again, processing is where Jalen Hurts excels, as well as physically he's good as well. But I think they could look at someone and say, hey, look what he just did with Jalen Hurts. Now can imagine what he could do with Anthony Richardson. And I think they would have a hard time passing up that type of upside at number 4 if Richardson's sitting there.
Yeah. No, I honestly, I didn't even know that Philly guy was there.
That was the big reason why I went with him there.
That's a solid reason. I just think I don't know. I just feel like Anthony Richardson is like, don't get me wrong, it's a little different because he went stupid at the combine and like is just an absolute freak. Yeah. So I don't think he's gonna like fall, but I think he might be this year's guy where somebody may not be willing to take that risk. And the Colts just strike me as a person who won't do that. Personally, like I think they're going Will Levis. I want Will Levis for so if it was me drafting, I would rather do your move. But because you're going to see when we talk a little bit later about our positional stuff, you're going to see I am not big on Will Levis.
I agree.
So therefore, I don't like that move. But yeah, I think the Colts are going to go Will Levis.
The other reason why I thought they could go Anthony Richardson is because there's a lot of people that are talking about how they think he may need to sit a year, and the Colts did go get Gardner Minshew. So
they could, he could play a year.
He could 100% play a year and have them, relevant and competitive. But also too, then if not, well, then next year's class is loaded. So
yeah, and no, I totally agree. I totally agree. So we'll see. All right, Seattle, Jalen Carter, Georgia. I feel like he can't fall much further than that.
Keep falling.
I've seen literally every NFL, every sports show that I've freaking watched in the last however many weeks, months almost, talking about the draft. Every single one, and I think it was Schrager on Good Morning Football, who's usually pretty good. He said that everybody he's talked to in each of the first 6 organizations say that they're like basically there's no way that Jalen Carter falls past number 6. And who is number 6? I'm going to freaking write it down. Lions, and then who the hell's 7?
Raiders.
I'm an idiot. I just wrote down my picks.
Yeah.
Raiders. Okay, Seattle's Jalen Carter, so we both got there. I feel like that's kind of almost like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Unless he goes earlier.
He could go earlier.
Unless he goes early. Sure. Yeah, he could be at 2. But okay, who I have at 6, I've heard a lot of people saying somebody could Houston could take a risk on him at 2. But all right, who do you have at 6?
So for the Lions, I went with Devon Witherspoon, cornerback out of Illinois.
Okay, interesting. So I'm assuming the Lions have 2 first-round picks. We probably did the opposite here. So I went Lions taking Tyree Wilson, the edge from Texas Tech. So that's what I went. And then just kind of moving on kind of quickly here because it makes sense to. I went Devin Witherspoon to the Raiders at number 7 overall.
Yeah, at 7, I went for the Raiders. I actually went Peter Skoronski. So the offensive tackle out of Northwestern.
Dang.
So I know it might be a hair high, but I think you look at the Raiders and they went with Jimmy G this offseason.
What is he, a guard or is he a tackle?
So he can play both.
Both, right?
Okay. I think you take him and you plug him in day one starter on the offensive line, wherever it is they decide. And instantaneously that makes their line significantly better for Jimmy G, who does have an injury history. So now if you're going to go with Jimmy G for the next couple of years to be your dude and you're expecting to compete, well, he's got to be in there to play.
They're saying they could take a quarterback.
So I've heard that, but I've also heard that essentially that's cooling
I think
down.
it's bullshit.
I think it's bullshit too.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit.
To me, when I hear that stuff with them, that to me sounds like, oh, they may consider it, come get our pick so we can rake you over the coals in a trade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I went Skoronski though.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I don't have him for a little bit, which is interesting. Yeah. But here we go. Atlanta at 8. This is where I'm not gonna lie. When I was bouncing around through some other mock drafts, some guys that I trust a little bit, when I was just seeing what they would say on each pick. This is one that I feel like is different in everybody's board. This Atlanta pick. I went Miles Murphy. Okay. Who'd you go?
This is where I went Tyree Wilson because he's still on my board.
Tyree Wilson.
So I think that would be.
There's like a lot of question marks around him, correct?
I think
because didn't he not play that much, or like didn't he not put up that great of numbers?
Possibly, but I mean.
But he's like a complete freak. That's what I'm saying. He's a freak.
So,
all right. So you went Tyree Wilson there. Number 9, Chicago. Is it my turn? I went your boy from your school, from the flag behind you, Paris Johnson Jr., tackle, the Ohio State University.
So this is where I got a little risky, but I feel like they're going to be too tempted to do it. I went Bijan.
Interesting. I saw some people saying he might go to Atlanta.
I heard that too. So
I don't know. Like it's been a thing now that they don't go that high, no matter what. Basically, I feel like.
I agree. I just think with all the moves that the Bears have made in free agency, they've filled a ton of holes. So I think they can at this point go and get Bijan and put him with Fields.
Yeah, with their draft capital that they have too now.
So you could go get Bijan and still be able to touch a lot of other. I mean, and Bijan too, right? You could make the argument if running back wasn't so devalued, he could be the number 1 overall prospect in the draft.
Yeah.
So
no, 100%, 100%.
The Bears going and getting Fields another weapon, and I think Bijan, who could do everything, could be that guy if he's sitting there.
Yeah. All right. Philly,
I went with Christian Gonzalez, cornerback out of Oregon. I just think they needed to retool a little bit on defense. They lost a decent amount of guys, and this dude could probably be a plug and play.
From Oregon? I don't even have him on my entire first round.
Hey, bro.
Let's go. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. This is how I feel like it is, man. Everybody's mock drafts is just I saw guys on there. Like, you got to think about it, though. Like, think about how many times, right? This is where I think why it feels like we're doing, what just happened, right? Because I feel like there's so many guys where they say first round pick. This guy's a first round pick. Talent wise.
And I'll tell you what, just for me, again, obviously I'm not, I don't get paid to do this. But that being said, I'm a freaking like lunatic. I'll watch film when I'm on the treadmill and shit, just for fun. For our dynasty league mostly.
Yeah, you're talking to a guy. Well, I do the same thing. I'm every night.
What I'm getting at is that this class to me, though, while it's been hyped, especially in the fantasy community for like the last couple of years, like 2023, I think now that it's 2023, I'm not really a fan of the class, to be quite honest with you. So
no, me either. Offensively, you're saying
in general, for the most part, but especially offensively.
I think there's some dudes defensively, possibly.
But I think as a whole, in terms of the class's depth, I'm not a huge fan of it. I just don't think it's that great of a class. That being, All
right.
So who'd you?
Oh no, go ahead.
That being said, who'd you take at 10?
Yeah, Philly at 10. I went Nolan Smith, Georgia.
Stud. Wouldn't be surprised if he went.
Yeah, I just think there's certain dudes and certain teams that, like, if a guy's sitting there, and you see that guy from Georgia, I mean, how do you not take a guy like that? He's a
freak.
Beast.
He's an absolute freak of nature. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that type of pick happened at all, to be quite honest.
Did you say who was the cornerback from Oregon again?
Gonzalez.
I'm an idiot. I just didn't write down his school, but. Okay, that moves us on to 11, and this is Arizona's pick for me because I did the trade for Tennessee, and this is where I put Christian Gonzalez to Arizona here.
And at 11, I went Will Levis because to me, I go if I'm
to Tennessee Tennessee.
So that's where, like for me in my mock, I look at that and go, hey, if I'm the Titans, I still got Tannehill. Levis is there. The value at 11, I would probably take that chance because it's already proven. Malik Willis.
That I wouldn't hate. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no.
Be it, so.
No. That I wouldn't hate.
So
that I wouldn't hate at all. Because that I wouldn't hate at all. All right.
12.
This is, I think, personally my first crazy one. That if you have this too, I'll be shocked. But go ahead, give your Houston 12.
Houston at 12. I went Jackson Smith and Jigba. So you go CJ Stroud at 2. And then you immediately go Jackson Smith and Jigba. They already have the camaraderie.
I could see that. I heard. I've seen a couple people mention that. I could see that for sure.
So that's why I went.
Could see that for sure.
To me, dude, it's not even close. When healthy, Jackson Smith and Jigba in this class, his separation that he can get on defenders is stupid. So
You know who I think and we'll talk about
yeah,
this a little bit later, like when we
yeah,
break down some guys, but he reminds me of
for sure.
Amon Ra. I think he could be
Yeah,
Amon Ra, like literally very, very
yeah.
similar type
So
receiver.
that's who I went at 12.
Which I think everybody will sign
Yeah,
up for that. I
yeah.
went, you ready? I went Hendon Hooker here.
That high, huh?
Yeah, I went Hendon Hooker to Houston. Um,
And you had what? Will?
I was just reading. They've been doing their
Yeah,
homework on him, like big time. They brought like obviously okay, everybody brings
yeah,
in people. The Giants brought in Hendon
yeah.
Hooker too, but just in terms of like what I went to Houston's like some of their Twitter stuff, and it's out there. It's definitely out there. Him going to Houston, and them
I
liking
just
him.
personally, I think if they're gonna take him, I don't think it would be till the top of the second round. That's just what I think personally. And again, obviously you're
Do
rolling
you
the
think
dice.
he'll last that
So
long?
I think there's talks, right? I've heard Washington. I've heard the Vikings potentially. But I think if you got two top 12 picks to take Hendon Hooker at 12, I just think for me is a little bit of a stretch. But again, who knows? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Be crazy. All right, am I up? Yeah, right.
Well,
Jets. I got
now
them.
it's Green Bay.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Green Bay. Right. Good call. Good call. Well, I'm gonna keep the same pick that I had Green Bay taking at
Okay.
15. And I'm gonna go Dalton
Okay.
Kincaid out of
Okay.
Utah.
I mean that's solid pick. Obviously, I mean getting Jordan Love another receiving threat. I think that'd be big.
Also with Tanyan
Tanya did
left.
leave. Yep. So they definitely have a hole there for sure. So for me with Green Bay, I went Lucas Van Ness. So he's an edge rusher. Yeah, dude. I just think
From
from
Iowa,
Iowa.
right?
Yeah, I just think he's too good to pass up at this point. I like his film a lot. Dude's a freak. I mean, simple as that. I just think there's so much further. I was tempted to go tight end, but I just think there's a lot of depth at tight end. So for me, the Packers also never draft skill position guys in the first round. so
This would be a
so
huge
it would be.
this would be a huge
It
middle
would be.
finger. Yeah, but now I don't know. If he's their guy, I think they'll take him. If not, then yeah, you're probably right. But I could see them. I feel like tight end
No,
makes
it
sense.
does. They need it.
Um,
It's just a matter of when. They're going to address it. It's just a
when
matter of when.
yeah, because they could get. You're right. Because of the depth, they could say, "Hey, we may be able to get a guy that we
Second,
like
third
at
round.
least in the
Yeah.
second, third round." Yeah. All right. You're up. 16,
No.
Washington. Oh no, 14. I'm an idiot. 14, New
Patriots.
England.
So the Patriots, I had them taking Broderick Jones. That being said, though, I also had the Jets at 13, then taking Paris Johnson. So I'll probably flip that, and I'll go because I think Paris Johnson is going to get taken over Broderick Jones in the draft. So for the Patriots, I'll go Paris Johnson Jr.
Okay, so yeah, okay, that makes
again,
sense.
I think he's plug and play day one, and he's a franchise left tackle.
And that's where New England there is where I went Peter Skoronski. Okay. So who'd you go there? Sorry. You went Paris Johnson?
Yeah, originally I had Broderick Jones going to them because I thought the Jets would take – if Paris Johnson's there at 13,
Paris Johnson.
they're taking him, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's why I think Paris Johnson's a beast. So that's why I think Chicago might do it. But
he's plug and play, instant like franchise left tackle. Just put him there and let's go.
Yeah. All right, so that was New England. I had Peter Skoronski there out of Northwestern, right? Yeah, Northwestern.
Now the Jets.
Green Bay, Jets.
No, the Jets are up.
Jets. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm gonna go Broderick Jones.
So again, like I said, before the draft, the trade that happened as we were coming on air here, I had them taking Paris Johnson at 13. But obviously, I think since they are now behind the Pats, I do think the Patriots would take Paris Johnson over Broderick Jones. So I think then the next best would be Broderick Jones. Well, again, man.
Agreed.
Georgia, just pumping
Agreed.
dudes out.
Yeah, if you got to block against their D line for your whole career at practice, I'm signing up for that. I'm signing up for that for sure. Okay, my turn at 16 with Washington. I got them taking Bijan.
Okay.
So I got Washington taking Bijan.
I don't think he's going to fall past. I don't think he's going to fall past 16. That's a prediction. I don't know if that's crazy, but I think he's going to go top 16 in this draft for sure.
Yeah. I personally I don't know. I could see a lot of people taking him. I could see Philadelphia taking him if he's there at 10. I could see, but I don't know. I don't trust the running back thing, so I got to go with my gut with the whole running back thing and at least wait a little bit. So that's why I went Washington there. All right, go ahead. Who do you got?
Well, no.
Pittsburgh taking. No. Oh, you didn't say Washington.
So I had them taking Deonte Banks, cornerback out of University of Maryland. So cool. They need some outside help for sure. There in Washington, they've always had a pretty good defensive line.
Yeah, they did. So they would give up
left and right. So
yeah, their passing defense was not the greatest. I remember that from fantasy, a nice little green icon when you'd be facing Washington last year for sure.
So Steelers. Steelers up next.
Yeah.
Who would I have them taking?
Yeah, who do you got? 17.
I have the Steelers taking Darnell Wright, an offensive tackle. I think to me, it's no matter who you end up saying they need to take, to me that offensive line needs to be freaking fortified. That's why I went Darnell Wright.
Does he play more guard or
tackle?
He plays tackle.
So again, another guy I think you put in the lineup, and he's starting from day one with that team.
I went a little crazy here. I don't know if I've seen a mock draft with this. I went the Steelers taking Jackson Smith and Jigba.
If he's there, it wouldn't shock me if they took him. I just don't think he's going to be there.
Yeah. I don't have. He's the person. That's where I have him at. I just didn't see it.
Wait,
I don't know why.
You had Jackson Smith and Jigba going to the Bears. Oh no, you had Paris Johnson.
No, I had him going. I had Paris Johnson going to the Bears. I got Jackson Smith and Jigba going. You had him going to the Texans, but I don't think if the Texans take C.J. Stroud, if I knew that going into the draft, like they were their guy, then okay, I wouldn't probably do this. But I think he could. I think there's going to be a run post like 15, 16 to where it's going to be a decent amount of wide receivers, maybe 3 or 4 of them in the first round. And I think Pittsburgh, obviously they've done it. I think they could pair it up with George Pickens long term here. That'd be kind of filthy.
Again, I'm not knocking the pick because, like I said, I think he's the number 1 receiver in this class. I just think the Steelers look at it and go, "We're elite of the elite at identifying good wide receiver talent," and they wouldn't use
100%.
Again, though,
100%.
If they take the pick, I don't think it's bad. I think it helps your team.
No, not at all. Detroit at 18, I went the guy that you just went, Deonte Banks, cornerback from Maryland. Okay. So that's literally what we did. We literally, with the Detroit 2 picks, you went cornerback early, I went edge early, and you went.
So what'd you go? 6 for the Lions. I went Devon Witherspoon, right? Who again, just to revert back to him, I just think he's a bit of a dog. So I think he fits with the Lions very well in terms of the mentality that Dan Campbell brings to that team. So then fast forward to 18, I went Michael Mayer. I think he's
that's it. I like that.
Play. You put him, he replaces Hawkinson instantaneously. Dude can block.
I don't think they hate that other guy though.
But I think Michael Mayer can instantaneously
a dude. Oh my gosh, he's a dude.
So,
he's
funny,
a dude.
Because like you had Kincaid going already, and I think Kincaid's a stud. I just think what actually is hurting Michael Mayer is that he's been so good for so long that people have honestly just forgotten about him. So you basically
he also hasn't had the greatest quarterback play.
Well, it's been a constant change. It's been a revolving.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And nobody's been good. Like nobody's been elite, right?
Ian Book. I mean, don't get me wrong. On a college level, though, he's good.
Okay, agreed. But I'm just saying he never even had that guy. He never even had a guy.
Dude, you know. To me, Michael Mayer makes too much sense with the Lions because again, he can.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I can see that.
The thing with there
too
is that he can run block. Obviously, his pass catching, we know he's good, great red zone threat.
Yeah,
but his blocking as well.
I'm kind of excited for next week's show when we see who was more right. That's going to be sick. We'll go through it. We'll recap it. It'll be fun. All right. So, Tampa Bay here. What? No, I already said Deonte Banks. I took the cornerback. Yeah, because because you had them taking cornerback early, and I think they don't leave the first round without they take a cornerback in the first round. Detroit, they have to because they got rid of Okudah, right? Yeah. So yeah, they have to take a corner for sure. All right, 19 Tampa Bay. I got Darnell Wright, tackle, Tennessee.
Okay. So I have them taking a different tackle because I had Darnell Wright going to the Steelers. So I have them taking Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma.
All right.
They need O-line help.
Boring pick, Tampa Bay.
They need a tackle opposite of Wirfs.
Who knows what they'll actually go. Yeah. All right. Your turn. Seattle. Who do you got?
To me, this is a no-brainer if it falls this way that they're going to do this, and this is where I have Nolan Smith going. So you go because I had them earlier going Jalen Carter at 5.
Dude, you think he's falling to 20?
I think there's a chance he could.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
I don't think he could get past. I don't think he'd get past Seattle.
I would want Pittsburgh. I would want Pittsburgh to freaking take him if he's there at 17.
I could see Nolan Smith going literally anywhere from roughly, let's see, from 6 to 20. Because would it shock me if the Lions took him at 6? No. So with the way that we have it set up, I would be surprised if he was taken over a Jalen Carter. But so based upon how I have mine set up, it would not surprise me at all if he's taken anywhere from 6 to 20. I just don't think he gets out of the top 20.
Yeah, I went Anthony Richardson. Okay. I think they're going to go. They're going to send him there. Yeah, they're going to. I think they'll obviously if he's there, they're going to take him, and I think it would be a good fit. Geno plays one more year. Geno plays one more year because the bulk of his contract too is in that front year, so it makes sense there. But that's what I got. I mean, obviously, I think that's pretty common. If Seattle, if it's there, I don't think it's a hot take by any means. All right, this one I'm a little excited about.
But real quick,
yes,
how it should have gone is that the Dolphins are picking here, but they lost this pick. So Chargers.
Yeah. So there's only 31. So technically, this is going to be pick 21, but it would be pick 22 if Miami. Zay Flowers, BC. Who do you got?
I have them taking Miles Murphy, Clemson dude, defensive end.
Yeah, no, he's a beast. He's a beast.
I just think you can't get enough.
I have him
when you're going against Mahomes.
You're
going against Mahomes. You're going against Russ. All those quarterbacks in the AFC. I'll take another edge rusher.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I just think they need a guy who's gonna play all 17 games and maybe can actually be there for Justin Herbert all the time.
The reason why I went there is because I think that there's a lot of dudes that are in similar tiers. Wide receiver.
I was just about
they could probably.
I was literally just about to say. I think there's, and we're going to go into the rankings there. Yeah, I just think. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, I agree. I think there's that post. I don't know what it is. Like I said, we're going to talk about. I think past a certain point, it gets very very similar in terms of the talent and wide receiver, which is maybe a good 2 or maybe possibly a good 3 on a team.
Well, there's not much.
I think that's
not much size in this year's wide receiver class.
Yeah,
so a lot of them are a lot smaller dudes, so they fit the same mold.
All right. Yeah. All right. So you had them taking
Miles Murphy.
Who? Miles Murphy, right? Clemson. All right. You're up. Baltimore at 22.
I have them taking Joey Porter Jr., cornerback, Penn State. Obviously, the pedigree of dad being a stud in the NFL, I just think Joey Porter Jr., the way he plays, fits perfectly with the Ravens.
I went a little crazy here. I don't even know if this is on the radar for them. I just was looking up team needs, looking up rosters, and I said, you know what? If he's sitting here, I could see this making, they're pissing off Lamar, maybe making him a little happy, getting him another guy. I have him taking Jordan Addison here.
I could totally see that.
And he's a beast. I think he's like legit. I think in terms of route running, I think it's Jackson Smith and Jigba, and him 1-2 best route runner, smoothest route runners.
Zay's a beast route running too.
Agreed. But Addison's smooth. He gives me CeeDee Lamb, Jameson Williams kind of vibes ish. Not as top tier, but you know what I mean. I think he could be a beast. All right, this pick is tough because I could see them going receiver here, which I don't want them to do, so I'm not putting that juju in the air. But Minnesota, I got him taking Brian Branch, safety, Alabama.
Yeah, no.
But I think they're saying he could be a guy that's 3 downs though, no matter what, can cover shit like that. So I wrote down it as a DB. So I think if they could get creative with him, they would do
for
this.
sure. No, I don't think that's a bad pick at all. But
because some people have this Brian Branch guy going mad early. Have you super early?
The only reason that he's not going higher is he's like the clear-cut best safety, but essentially he's a safety, so they're not going.
That's what exactly. That's why I'm nervous about it.
I would not be surprised if he goes in this range. I actually have him going in this range. We'll get to that in a sec. But here at 24 with the Vikings, I have them taking Zay Flowers, so I will put that juju in the air. I just think, again, right there, you put Zay with KJ Osborne and obviously the best receiver in the league right now, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. And
Hawkinson. And then, whatever they decide to do at running back, whether it's keep Dalvin Cook or decide to cut him and draft a guy later. But I just think Zay Flowers, you could throw him right in there, and then that makes that offense even more elite than it already is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that would be that. I could see that for sure. I would
love that because I think it would devalue Zay Flowers.
Yeah, agreed. That would not be the greatest landing spot for him fantasy wise.
Real NFL wise, going to the Vikings, I think,
be sick.
Yeah,
be sick. Yeah, that receiving core would be crazy. Which we don't gotta talk about the KJ Osborne hype train just yet. That'll be for a later date.
Jaguars.
All right, Jaguars. I would love for them to get another weapon. Would love that, but don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to go. This is where I got Lucas Van Ness. Edge, Iowa. Van Ness.
No, you're good.
I'm an idiot.
I have them taking Brian Branch, so that's why I said I think right in this range.
Oh, damn. So okay, cool. Because I saw a lot of people saying that Brian Branch could go from 6 to freaking, and I'm like, I don't know about that.
In the first round, but I also don't see him going top 10. So I think this will be around the range that you see him go. And for me, football wise, obviously it's a defender. So
how tall is Lucas? How big is Lucas Van Ness? Because when I was watching some film on him today, he looked pretty crazy.
6'6", but don't quote me on that.
Because
he's a big dude.
he was looking pretty crazy on film. I'm not gonna lie. So that'd be sick if that defense could get him for Jacksonville's purposes. All right, what do you got? 25 Giants. Who do you got?
Giants. I have them taking Jordan Addison.
Interesting. That would be a good pick. I think that'd be really solid for them. You ready for this one? I think this might be a little weird. I don't know, but I have them taking Michael Mayer.
Okay.
Even though they just got Darren Waller, I have them taking Michael Mayer.
Waller and they have Bellinger too.
Yes, I've literally seen this in multiple places that they are extremely high on him. I saw it on 2 different mock drafts from guys that I like. But yeah, we'll see. This is all gonna come to fruition.
No, for sure. Starting
on Thursday. Yep. So who'd you have the Giants taking again? Addison. Right?
I just think Daboll had Stephon Diggs in Buffalo. I think they could use Addison in a very similar role in that offense as Diggs.
For sure.
For
sure.
Cowboys.
All right. 26, Nicole's Dallas Cowboys.
I was so tempted to have them taking Jahmyr Gibbs here just because this seems like a Jerry Jones type of thing that he would do. But I just stuck with what I think they should do, and I have them taking Osiris Torrance, the offensive line, out of Florida. I just think they need to freaking restock and re-beef up that O-line a little bit. And this dude, I think, would be the guy there.
Well, this is pretty much the story of our life here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Safe pick. I went Jahmyr Gibbs.
No, for sure. Yeah, that's what I tell you.
Literally, I tried to keep a straight face. I tried to keep a straight face while you were talking, but literally, as soon as you said that out loud, I'm not even kidding you. As soon as I got to the Cowboys at 26, I didn't even look at anything on anything. I literally just went Jahmyr Gibbs, just strictly based on who?
Jerry Jones. Yeah.
Jerry Jones. Yeah, literally.
No, dude,
I think if Gibbs is
I
there,
can see it happening for sure.
Again, I agree with you. Do I think it's the smart pick? Do I think it's what they should do team-wise? No, I really don't. But I think if Jahmyr Gibbs is sitting there, it was a similar situation. No, I'm not saying similar, but what they did with CeeDee Lamb, nobody thought he was going to be there. CeeDee Lamb was there. Boom, take him.
That though is just that. Again, I know the running back position has been devalued. I think Gibbs is a great player. I do. I think he's a stud.
Yeah, me too.
Reverting back to the CeeDee Lamb thing, though, I think too, like the longevity that you can have with receivers over running backs. I think that's a little bit more of a reason why you'd go receiver too. But it wouldn't shock me if they went. Again, my gut was telling me to go Jahmyr Gibbs.
I know. That's I had to. I didn't do it for everybody. Like I said, a couple times I went with the more would not make sense. But here, I feel like that does happen on draft night. There's a couple of these kinds of picks. I think that is going to be one of them. I do really think that.
All right, Bills. Who you got?
Bills. This might ruffle some stuff here. I got them taking Josh Downs, wide receiver in North Carolina.
I went with a different wide receiver. So I went with them
Quentin
taking Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, that was my debate, but I don't know. I don't know why. I just think they're going to take him.
Quentin Johnson's there. I think they do make the move for him. And again, obviously, it's my mock. That's why I went with him. But I just think his size is something that they don't necessarily have. He's 6'3", I think, like 215, bigger receiver, which there aren't many in this draft. And I think he could be a red zone threat. Go over the middle of the field, do a lot of things that Diggs. Don't get me wrong, Diggs can do everything, but I think they are missing an element of the bigger-bodied receiver, and I think Johnson could obviously step in right away and not Gabriel, because I'm just not sold that Gabriel Davis is a wide receiver too.
This reminds me, and this is not a comparison here. This is just a situation comparison, not a player comparison. I could see Quentin Johnson being a DK Metcalf to where he falls a little bit. Then all of a sudden everybody's like, why didn't we take this guy earlier above some of these other guys? I could see that. So that wouldn't shock me if Buffalo went there by any means. I could definitely. I don't even have Quentin Johnson in the first round.
Your point, in my opinion, I don't think he's the athlete that DK is. That's
agreed.
But.
Compared to in this draft, though, he low-key is I feel like he is considered that freak guy. No,
maybe a little bit, but I mean, I think that also goes to show then too that this draft just is not as talented as a lot of people.
Agreed. Yeah, totally agreed there. Cool. But yeah, I could definitely see him going Quentin Johnson there. All right, Cincinnati. I'm actually really excited about this one because I think there could be some shockers here, but I don't think this is necessarily a shocker, but I think they could potentially go with other people in the same position. But I think they're 100% going a tight end with this pick. And I think they're going Luke Musgrave.
Okay. So I have them taking Dalton Kincaid in mind here. See, if I'm the Bengals and this pick comes up and Kincaid's on the board, I'm sprinting to go get him.
Oh my gosh, dude! You better hope, literally, you better hope nobody from from our dynasty league listens to this, because I mean, unless they don't have half a brain, I'm sitting here going, yeah. I mean, if you got that second round pick and Dalton Kincaid went to Cincinnati and Kincaid's there in that second round, you're going Kincaid 100%.
Even though I'm personally, I'm loaded at tight end in my opinion, but you would have to take that pick.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. Yeah, no, I agree. Because you could just move. You could literally just move on. Or F it and play two of them in the flex. Like if you, I who cares? But yeah, we'll obviously talk some more fantasy. But all right, I already said Luke Musgrave there. 29 Saints. I think it's my turn. This is where I went Miles Murphy, Clemson.
So yeah, I went Steve Avila. He's an interior offensive lineman, TCU. Everything that everyone's talking about him is that he's just a freaking grinder, just a hard
grinder
dude, and will just he's down to pummel people. And I think again, you just went and got Derek Carr. Go solidify the offensive line so that you can run the ball and freaking protect them.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I could see that for sure.
31.
No,
I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, technically.
Eagles pick.
Yeah. Eagles pick.
I have them.
Who do you got?
Kalijah Cansey, defensive lineman from Pitt. People have been throwing around the Aaron Donald comparison. I think that's a little ridiculous, but I also think, again, the dude's just been a stud at Pitt. So you plug him in with a defensive line that they already have in Philly, and I think he can be a guy that has an immediate impact on their potential Super Bowl run again.
Pitt does something right, huh?
Produce some studs.
Randoms. They never really put it together. Don't get me wrong. They're usually ranked, right? They're usually ranked, but
of late at least produce
talent producers.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's every year there's one or two guys where didn't Addison go to Pitt too?
Pickett.
That's what I'm with Pickett. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. No, that's another thing, by the way, that that's another thing that I could see if I could see that too. But I went the Philly pick. I went Joey Porter. This is where I went Joey Porter Jr. cornerback.
Same reasons like what I said earlier with the Ravens. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just fits.
Yeah.
He just fits with those two teams.
Fits.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. And then, all right, my turn here with the last pick, KC. I got them going Osiris Torrance from Florida.
This is where I swear I'm not doing this to troll you, but this is where I have them taking Jahmyr Gibbs. I think they just look at it and they go, I'm not going to pass up on another freaking electric dude. And then they literally just ship, what's his name, out. Edwards-Helaire out.
That I don't care about.
Sure.
I want to happen. I want him out of there. Yeah, that would be good for me.
I think if Gibbs is sitting there, I think that they would just say, you know what, I get it, right? We have Pacheco, and Pacheco has looked very good, but I just think they go, okay, cool, give me another guy. It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me.
I don't know. I don't know. They did that. They. I feel like I don't know.
I'm telling you. I just think I think it could happen.
I could see it. I guess I could definitely see it. But I feel like, don't get me wrong here.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong here. Did they not f that up with CEH?
For sure. But I think CEH is one. He's not as explosive. He's not. Yeah.
I'm not saying, but they thought that then.
They did for sure.
Everybody literally, when they got to that KC pick, everybody was literally like, "Oh my gosh, CEH is still here."
I think.
So I don't know.
Obviously, hindsight being 20/20, but I think Gibbs is a better prospect than CEH.
Well, I totally agree there. I totally agree.
Think they would be too tempted to get another playmaker to just throw in with Pat Mahomes. Which again, dude, like if we're talking fantasy wise, to me that's not the ideal landing spot because all the touches are going to be freaking spread out. But NFL wise, if you have a 1-2 punch of Pacheco, who's in there smacking dudes, and then Gibbs, I think NFL wise, it could be legit.
Yeah, no, honestly, I don't really care there. To be honest, that wouldn't even like stir the pot with me in terms of Pacheco, just because everybody, no, for sure. But I'm just saying, like, in terms of like, generally speaking here, like there's no way Pacheco gets less touches next year. Even if Gibbs comes in, it's like he'll either get the same amount of touches, which I'd be totally fine with, or obviously maybe a little bit more. But I think if either way, I'm not worried there. So yeah, no, I could see that happening. It's just I don't know if they're going to do that after kind of effing it up with CEH a couple years ago. All right. That was good shit. I actually that was mad fun going through that. Really different too.
Yeah.
Like honestly, we completely went in two different directions with a lot of things. Had some
Yeah.
similarities there, but all right, let's kind of do this. This part
me
I'm
too.
excited about. I think it's good too because this part's not that I've been thinking about it more and more because we've been saying how I'm like worried about fantasy stuff. But my thing is like if anybody listens to this one from our fantasy league and then the draft happens, everything
sure.
could change for me. Like literally everything can change for me. I prefer situation over player any day of the week. I'm a situation based guy, and then when that talent, like is let's say it's a little bit of a lower end guy on the draft board, but I think he's a good player, and boom, he goes to the right situation. Those are the guys I attack. You saw it last year in the draft. A lot of guys go player. A lot of guys go player.
For me, I tell you,
but that's just not me.
You have to be a certain caliber of player for me to go player, right?
Agreed.
Like if Bijan went to freaking, let's just say he went to Tennessee and Derrick Henry's there, don't care.
Still who cares? Who cares? I don't care. I'm going. Yeah, so exactly.
You have to be a certain level of player for me to take you based upon just strictly your talent alone. Obviously that's a factor in it all, but situation is going to be key, right? I mean, and then also if we're looking at it from a dynasty perspective, is where like do you think you're competing this year? And so then is this guy someone that you need to contribute right away?
Agreed.
Or can he go sit in your taxi slot for 3 years and then produce?
Agreed.
You know.
And you're seeing my team. I thought that was going to be the thing last year, and then heading into this year, I just happened to late catch fire. But I think that's what my kind of goal was last year was to do that, to have everything line up for this season essentially. So yeah, no, I couldn't agree more there. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but I really do think based on the feel of our league, I know we've only had two rookie drafts or one? Second rookie draft, right? So second rookie draft, just based on how everybody talks, I think a lot of guys in our league go based on the player that they think is the best, and they don't always go based on situation. At least like in that certain area. But all right, let's fire it up. I'm pumped about this.
But like you look at like myself picking up Romeo Doubs last year. Right there, they lose a whole bunch of wide receiver talent. It's completely unknown. And then I go and they take Romeo Doubs late. I'm able to just take him off the waiver wire just as a free agent. I don't even need to use a waiver claim. And then he could just kind of sit there, and then all of a sudden it turns out, wow, okay, I actually play him some weeks because he's relevant. So you have to look at dude's situations, not just like, oh, this is the big name. It's got to be, okay, maybe this dude is someone like a Dobbs where he played at Nevada, had huge numbers, but isn't getting quite as much recognition. But then he falls into a team that it works out that he's going to have the opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And that's like the same thing. Like, dude, I don't know if you remember this. I had Pacheco on my roster. Then I actually dropped him. And then the buzz started happening and I picked him back up. And it was the exact same thing. Like, it's just like the upside, the chance of certain guys based on the situation. If the door could open, you might as well. Those are the type you got to see if it's going to happen. So, I agree.
Straight up.
Exactly. Nobody knows. Exactly. So let's fire it up. Do you want to go from tight end to quarterback, or do you want to start off with the QBs right out the gate?
QBs. That's always going to be the most talked about thing.
And
I think we'll have some similarities.
I was just going to say save the best for last, but all right.
To me, it's not though, because I'll almost guarantee that our QBs, maybe they might be different in the order, but they're going to be.
I'm excited. Honestly, I might have said that because I might be the most excited to talk about some tight ends, baby. Give them tight ends a little bit of love. But yeah, all right. What do you got? QBs? Do you want to just go? You want to just talk about your rankings and then talk about my rankings, or are we going to go like 5-1? How do you want to do this?
Let's go 5-1. Who you got a 5?
Okay.
Okay. I have
Will
Hooker
Levis.
there. The only reason I have Hooker there, I'll just jump into it right away. Is he's coming off injury, and because of the injury, I don't think he's going to get as much draft capital as the 4 dudes ahead of him. So for me, I'm looking at it like, okay, where can I get him versus like where's he going to go? So I think Hooker, again, I think he could be, in terms of like looking at this, I think he could be as high as 2-3 in terms of production. But based upon where it's standing right now, still coming off the injury, I went Hooker at 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate that there. I went Will Levis just because I think he's gonna
Fair enough.
suck. I honestly, I literally, I almost put him. I almost didn't
Yeah.
even rank him on here. I'll say it. I don't care. You know, it's nothing against Will Levis. It's just I literally was doing it. I literally watched Will Levis
Yeah.
today for about 20 minutes. Was going through literally just highlight after highlight after highlight. And I don't love it. I don't love it. And the fact that like, what the hell? Like, if you're first round talent
Yeah.
in the NFL, if you're first round talent, and Anthony Richardson for me
Yeah.
is a little different.
No,
I don't
agree.
care what anybody says.
It's
You know, it's
freak.
just one of those things. It's like Lamar Jackson.
bigger.
It's like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying it's like the similar situation. So the reason Will Levis does nothing for me, he reminds me of the stereotypical
Yeah.
backup
He's
quarterback
got
in the
a
NFL.
great arm.
So
I'll give him that. That's it to me.
yeah, yeah. His decision making, his like I don't know. We'll see. Again, all of these things, and we're going to talk about this next week. All of these things, I could change my opinion based on situation. If he goes to the right team, if he's in the right situation, I may say that might not be bad.
If he goes to a Colts and he can sit,
this is just strictly based on
just
talent,
right
essentially.
like if he goes to a
Yeah.
Colts or if he goes to a Titans and he can sit, like I could see him being serviceable.
Yeah, I agree.
I just don't see
serviceable.
him being
Agreed.
an elite, top-end NFL franchise quarterback that you're going to stick with for the next 10, 12 years. I just don't see it. And then obviously
I agree.
moving on then to number 4. That's who I had at 4. I have Levis at 4.
You have Levis at 4. I have Hendon Hooker at 4. So there we go. Just switched it there. I think I think Hendon Hooker, just again, situation is going to be key. Is he going to get a legitimate chance? Is he going to be in a good situation? The older thing does always scare me too. I don't like that. Yeah, I just don't like that. It's just simple as that. Don't really have a reason why. I guess he could play for the next 10 years and be fantastic. Right. You know what I mean? But again, it's just, I don't love it.
You didn't see him pop until this year. And he's 25.
Yeah.
So it's
agreed.
Like, okay.
Agreed. And that's why Anthony Richardson and Will Levis scare me. Because it just hasn't been stat ridden. You know? All right, 3. I got CJ Stroud at 3.
I have Richardson at 3. Again, a couple reasons why I'm at 3. I'm looking at it from a dynasty perspective. So when I could see Richardson in terms of fantasy value being the number 1 QB in this class if he hits his ceiling, right? Because I think he's gonna be able to run the ball like crazy.
Yeah, you're looking at it as a Anthony Richardson for 10 years or CJ Stroud for 15 years, possibly.
This is the main thing too, is I could see a situation where Richardson, let's say he lands with the Seattle and he sits for 2 years. Okay, well, I think Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are stepping in and starting immediately. So then you're having 2 extra years of starting quarterback play on your dynasty team right out the gate.
Right out the gate.
That's the reason why I have
right out the gate. Well, even just football wise, that's technically more valuable there.
But I do think his top end ceiling is 1.
Agreed. If my thing is this, if CJ Stroud goes to a really good situation and Anthony Richardson goes to a really good situation, I think the upside of Richardson is higher, both fantasy wise and honestly, football wise too. But CJ Stroud, obviously I could see him being the best quarterback in this draft. It's just, I don't know why. I don't know what the heck the media's got against him, if it's that, or they're just stirring up stories, but I am nervous. I'm nervous if that test is correct. I'm nervous about I'm nervous about that then, I guess. Because to be honest, has he won?
Not the big one. Besides.
But did he even get there?
Yeah.
Once.
No, they lost in the semifinal, and then so he lost in the semifinal this past year, and then they lost to Michigan, so they didn't even make the playoff. So to that point though, the only thing, and obviously you can see behind Ohio State fan here, but that I have been critical of him. I don't think he's had that dog like mentality that you need kind of to get your team through these like the tougher wins. I will say though, it started to shift for me a little bit with the win over, well, not the win, what should have been the win over Georgia. He balled out against Georgia. There's no absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree. That should have been his moment.
So I agree to an extent, but I think
I want him to. I think it could go either way.
Sure.
I think it could go either way. I think he could be never anything, or he could be really, really good for a long time.
What you said, situation. Because there's very few dudes.
Situation.
Honestly, I don't think there's any quarterback in this class that can overcome situation. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that too. Like, I don't think you're getting a Trevor Lawrence here.
No, I think there's very.
And even me, think about it. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a difference between a bad situation and that Urban Meyer situation, but still.
You look at that though. And it's like, I mean, he looked terrible.
Trev can't do it. Yeah, if Trev can't do it, yeah. But yeah, no, I got Anthony Richardson at 2 just because, like I said, I think the upside's there. And then obviously we're both in agreement. I think Bryce Young is going to be. Yeah, I think he's going to be good.
Too, right? So then, just real quick, I have Stroud at 2, so we just flipped there again. But yeah, to Bryce Young, what's key for me with Bryce Young is again, with the way that our mocks are going and the way that it's looking, he's going to be going to the Panthers, right? You have Frank Reich there. Their whole coaching staff that he's put together is loaded. You then throw in a Thielen, and that team is looking like it could actually make some noise in that division.
Yo, I would love for them to go Bryce Young, and then I would love for them. Oh, they got Hayden Hurst, so never mind. They don't even need to go tight end. They'd be all right. They'd be all right there. I was gonna say they could go a tight end because of the deepness at tight end. I was gonna say they could go a tight end in the second round if they have a second round pick. But Hayden Hurst is solid. Yeah, Hayden Hurst is fine there.
Tremble. I mean, he's all right.
Yeah, Tremble that's what I'm saying. Tremble as number 2 is totally fine there. Exactly. So yeah, no, and Chark. I mean, so yeah, Thielen, Chark, and then they could draft somebody in the second round too, which I think would be a solid thing as well. But that's pretty similar there. But all right, let's go running backs here. Oh, quick. How much time do you have? Do you have like another 20 minutes? Okay. All right. So running backs, do you want to just all right, go. Oh, before, right? I was going back to it. Do you got any, I wrote down a couple honorable mentions here for quarterbacks. Do you have any that you like?
This is the one position that I actually didn't even consider additional people. I don't think this class is great. I think if this class was combined with next year's class, I think Bryce Young would probably rank 4th, 3rd at the absolute highest. So I think next year's class, right? Caleb Williams and Drake May, to me, are I know the term gets thrown around a lot, but generational talents. I think those two dudes are you put them in and they literally change your entire franchise. So
yeah, no, I totally agree there. But
I think some guys are looking at what's his name out of Stanford. I'm having a brain fart right now. Yeah.
Out of Stanford?
No, he's a righty.
The lefty?
No, he's a righty. He's a big dude.
He's huge. 6'6". He's like 6'6".
Some people are looking at him. I don't think he's going to be much. I don't think this entire class, for the most part, is going to be much, to be quite honest, besides the top 3. And I think Hooker could be serviceable for a while. But to be honest with you, like I said, this is the one.
What's his name?
Tanner McKee, yeah.
Tanner McKee?
This is the one position where I did not even consider dudes outside of the top 5.
I'm gonna be real quick. I think Dorian Thompson Robinson, he's not horrible. I think he could be solid. I think there's some upside there. 6'2", good runner,
totally right.
athletic.
Because I do like him. I think if he's put in the right spot, he can be solid. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's bad. And then I wrote down Clayton Tune as well, just because I think the Steelers are going to draft him late and as their backup quarterback. Right. Or just as a quarterback depth.
And
I should say, maybe not backup.
I would not be shocked if Stetson Bennett ends up starting games in the NFL at some point. Just
me either. Just cause.
Dude. And also,
a scrappy douche. A scrappy douche, you should say.
I'll tell you what, though, watching the combine and watching throw against the other top guys, He can throw the ball. I mean, dude.
Oh yeah, he's just I actually mean douche in like a little bit of a
Right.
I don't mind
Like
it, like a Baker
he doesn't give a
Mayfield
shit.
type of like he doesn't give a rat's ass, type of stuff. But yeah, no, that makes sense there.
Yeah.
I just
The
wrote
other
Clayton too
positions,
because
like I
all
said, I've
right,
got a couple extras
let's go.
that I'll throw in there too. But
Cool. Why don't we just do this? Why don't you just give your top five? I'll give my top five, and then we could just
all right.
talk
So
about it overall.
running.
So you go running backs,
Okay,
go 5-1.
So at 5, I kind of have a tie. I went Tank Bigsby and Tyjae Spears at 5. Okay. At 4,
Okay.
I have Israel Abanikanda. At 3, I have
Okay.
Kendre Miller. Then I have Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan up top, which I'm not surprised. Obviously, no one's surprised about those ones.
Okay. So I would have put Israel Abanikanda. Am I saying that right? Abanikanda. I would have put him at 5, but this guy's making my list. I have Deuce Vaughn at 5, K-State. I have Roshan Johnson at 4, Texas. I have Tajay Spears 3, Tulane. I got Jahmyr Gibbs 2, Bijan 1. And then like I said, I would have put Israel Abanikanda. I do think he's better than Deuce Vaughn. I just want Deuce Vaughn in my top 5 because Deuce Vaughn, I think he's actually going to be pretty good in the NFL somewhere. Again, somebody's going to, because he'll go later. He's not going to go,
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. So, but somebody will pick him up, and somebody will use him like as that. Like if imagine he goes to the Chiefs and they use him as like the Jerick McKinnon or something.
I'm looking at him, and I'm just like, man, he's very small. And again,
but he's got a commercial.
If I'm looking at this again from the perspective of fantasy, I'm looking at like a guy that could come in and be fantasy relevant. I don't know if he's going to be fantasy relevant. That's just me.
That's fine. Good. Right here. You know what this is? This is a can of gasoline, and you're pouring fuel on the fire. But okay, quickly. I'm going to say this right now, just so you can hear it when these guys are good. Xavier Valade out of Arizona State will get drafted and will be a good running back in the NFL. And so will Deneric Prince out of Tulsa. Get these guys. They're both 6 foot and they run 4.4s. So get them every single time those two things happen. Usually they play running back in the NFL at some point, everybody. And that is just straight up facts based on every NFL draft that's happened. I mean, you can go down the list and see how many late round running backs based on speed and size are good in the NFL.
To your list,
who do you got? And those, by the way, those would not be like 7, 8 on my rankings. I'm saying those just have a chance to be good players in the NFL.
That's what that comes down to.
Yes,
I mean, you're not touching them unless all of a sudden they're getting starting touches.
I'm really talking just about actual football too. I think these guys are going to be good players in the NFL.
So looking at your list in comparison to mine, Roshan Johnson, I have him at 6, but to me, Roshan, Bigsby, and Spears, I have them kind of in that same tier basically. They're all right in that same general range.
I really like Spears. I think Spears. I really like Spears.
I think there's not as much film of him against quality competition where I look at the other dudes and
100%.
Like even Izzy Abanikanda, right, who I like a lot. Like I like him a lot. The bottom line with him is he had some of his best games against good competition. So he had a huge game against Tennessee this past year. Virginia Tech's defense is always pretty good. Smoked them. So he's always put up really big numbers against good teams, and he's young. So I like Abanikanda a lot, and I'm surprised that a lot of people are not hyping him as much as I think he deserves.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's legit. I watched film on him literally today. I was literally watching it this morning. He can play.
Like if he falls, I don't mean falls, but if he lands with an NFL team that runs a zone running scheme, like a type of offense like the Miami Dolphins or something like that, I think he could be a problem in the NFL. I think he's legit. He's got good size. I think he's like 6 foot, 215-ish, and he ran at his pro day in the 4.3s. So even if you add that 1/10 of a second that they give her for pro days, right, Like, okay, he's running 4.4s at that size. That's NFL running back size. So big on him.
I'm with this. I'm with this. There's
Hey,
always a couple guys that just have the look at the running back position that end up being really, really good players.
and I do
Pacheco
think
being one
another
of
one
them,
is my number
obviously.
3, Kendre Miller. I don't know how much film you got a chance to watch on him because I know he didn't fall inside your top 5 or you didn't mention him. I would
Yeah.
suggest go check him out. TCU running back. The dude literally he never goes backwards. He reminds me
I
of
love those
this, and
guys.
this would be a hot take, but he reminds me of like Marshawn Light. Like that type, like Marshawn Lynch, but like light. Not quite. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Marshawn.
Like I'm not
I was
saying
like, what are you? Who the hell is? I was like, do
no.
I not know who this is at
Marshawn
all?
Lynch light.
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Okay, that just went
No.
right over my head.
Dude,
I
like
got you.
he will
Well, okay,
literally
I
like
got you.
if when you watch the film on him, you'll see him. He'll make a quick cut through the hole, and then as soon as he gets to the second level, if he immediately realizes that there's not a way to get around whoever is in front of him, you just see him immediately attack the defender and just take those extra couple yards, right? And he's never falling backwards. So for me, when it comes to
I love that
evaluating like
shit.
an NFL running back, that's huge because you're not going to be able to hit home runs every time. So I love when dudes see, okay, I don't have it here. I'm going to go initiate the contact so that way I'm getting those couple yards, and then that eventually leads to success and moving the chains for your team, which leads to more opportunities. So Kendre Miller, I was not as high on up until recently, but like digging through the tape more and more on these guys, I'm big on him.
Don't sound like I hate that idea.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty good guy. I just haven't seen too much on him, but
So
no, he'd be like 6. He'd be 6 right there. He's good.
And then Auburn's program has kind of gone downhill, and I just think that the team around him has been garbage because, dude, you watch him play, like he still has it. So
he's good. He's definitely good. No, he's a guy I did watch, and he's a guy that was considered for the 5-6 spot for sure. All right, I'll run through my wide receivers here. I'll go backwards. This may be shocking based on the mock draft, but again, what you believe in a mock draft based on who you actually think is the best players has nothing to do. Yeah, has nothing to do with each other. Yeah. Yes. So from 5 to 1, I went Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee at 5. I went Zay Flowers, BC at 4. I went Jordan Addison, USC at 3. I went Jackson Smith and Jigba, Ohio State at 2, and I went Quentin Johnson, TCU at 1.
Okay, so you like Quentin Johnson?
Yeah, I like Quentin Johnson. I just, again, like, I don't know why this happens every year, but like literally this happens to where like I personally think he's like, aside from Jackson Smith and Jigba, you can make the argument Jackson Smith and Jigba, but the thing is for me, I didn't love last season. I didn't I didn't love that. So that's why I like Quentin Johnson. I'd rather go with Quentin Johnson, but yeah, no, I think Quentin Johnson's going to be a pretty good receiver. I don't know if he's ever going to be like that dominant one. But I think he could be like a Mike Williams or something like that. In terms of in terms of like a quality player. I don't mean like direct similar, because they're kind of different in terms of receiving style.
Okay.
Well, all right, what do you got? Well, and then we'll go back and we'll talk about other guys because I got some flyers here for sure.
I've done a lot of tape on this. Again, not a huge fan of this class in general. So my 5 is going to be a little different. So at 5, I went with 2 guys again that are kind of in the same tier in my opinion. Josh Downs at 5, and I like A.T. Perry. I don't know if you've seen any video on him. A.T. Perry, to me, is getting criminally underrated right now. Wake.
Where'd he go?
Yeah, if you want to, while I'm going through this list, if you want to just pull up his numbers quick from this past year, they're very good. Okay, so then 4, I had Quentin Johnson. Again, I think he can be legit. I'm just not totally sold. I don't think he's a freak. So I'm not totally sold on that. And then in my next 3, I have Jordan Addison at 3. I have Zay Flowers at 2, Jackson Smith and Jigba at 1. But again, I do think any one of those 3, I don't.
You don't have Jalen Hyatt on there. Where do you got him? Top 10,
I
you
would say
think, or no?
top 10. My issue with him is to me, he just runs straight.
I think he's situation. Again, he's another guy where it's situation, but we'll see. Speed though, he can work on that.
Is the guys that are like dumb fast oftentimes are not the best NFL receivers. So that's why I think his top end
Agreed.
speed, yeah, like he'll have a game where he catches 2 bombs and go freaking,
I just get excited when I see a guy perform well against SEC good teams.
I'm not taking that away.
So that's it for me. But again, out of nowhere this year as well. So no, I totally agree there. That's why I have my 5. My 6, I honestly probably, if I were to be drafting them in fantasy, I'd probably go Marvin Mims over Jalen Hyatt. But that's who my number 6 would be. My number 6 would be Marvin Mims. I really like Rashee Rice out of SMU. And then I do have one that 100% could be my second round pick in the rookie draft this year. I really like Xavier Hutchinson out of Iowa State.
Him a lot.
Really, really like Xavier Hutchinson.
Hey, real quick, I got to give A.T. Perry love. You got his numbers pulled up? Hey.
Oh yeah, no, I got his numbers.
What did he go? 11 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards.
Tied for 7th in the country with 11 touchdowns. 16th in the country with 1,096 yards. 14th in the country with 81 receptions.
6'4", and I'm pretty 6'5",
205.
Okay.
205.
So I would like to add.
And he's from Lake Worth, Florida, which I like. I like Florida guys.
Speed? I'm pretty sure he ran a 4.38 at the combine. You can fact check me on that. But at that size, that speed, with that type of production, to me, again, he's being criminally underrated currently.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to see if his 40 times here. I don't see it.
Touch on one of your dudes.
Yeah, no, I like Xavier Hutchinson a lot. I do think probably who will go down as the best receiver in this class. If I had to really take a guess, I would say it's either going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba or Jordan Addison. Addison's kind of cold. Yeah. If he stays healthy and if I think he's pretty good.
Perry is a 4.47, but a 4.47 at 6'5". I mean,
that's.
And then again,
come on, he's moving.
I'm telling you,
he's moving.
The tape. He's getting in and out of his breaks at that size. So again, to me, I see that size and speed combo with the production, and I think he's being very underrated going into this draft. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets in the real NFL draft. I would not be surprised if he gets taken towards back end second round.
Yeah, I mean, that shit always happens. I feel like we're going to be talking about that next week for sure. Like something, something odd, something crazy, whatever it is. Speaking of something odd, something crazy, my tight end rankings. My tight end rankings are all kinds of nuts. What do you got? You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Less crazy as yours.
Yours is basic,
but this is how I see it for real. I got Tucker Kraft at 5. I got Laporta at 4. I got Darnell Washington at 3. Kincaid at 2, and I have Mayer at 1. Now, again, fantasy-wise, I could see Kincaid being better than Mayer in fantasy, depending on landing spots. Because, dude, like Kincaid...
Situation,
again,
of course.
Break him down quick. I look at Kincaid, and genuinely, I see a little bit of Travis Kelce style where he's super fluid, making dudes miss, catching everything, creating separation. Like, Kincaid as a receiving threat to me is elite. Like, probably the best in this class, right? I just look at a Michael Mayer, though, and he's plug and play. And I think he's going to go to a situation like the Lions, or I could see him going to, the Bengals, or if he goes to the Chargers, something like that, where he's going to be put in a spot right away because of his blocking ability, that he's going to be on the field constantly. And Michael Mayer reminds me a lot of like a Jason Witten.
Yeah. I agree. Like football wise,
Yeah.
I think Michael Mayer's probably the best one. I think just overall, and unfortunately in the NFL right now, I feel like to be considered the best tight end and considered a top 5 tight end, you have
you
to
gotta
be
be
on the
balling
receiving
out.
side of things. Yeah, you got to be going off on the receiving side of things. So that's my list is definitely, I would say my list is a tight end receiving, like the best tight end receivers list. So for this, I went Luke Musgrave at 5, Oregon State. I went Darnell Washington, Georgia at 4. I went Michael Mayer, Notre Dame at 3. I went Dalton Kincaid at 2, Utah. And mother effer, I am sticking my neck out. I am sticking my neck out. Because I am going Zach Kuntz out of Old Dominion. The dude is a freak.
Yeah.
The dude is a freak. I had him as like, I was like, oh, you know what? I think he's probably the 6th, 7th. Yeah. This is a stacked tight end. This is 6, 7. Dude, I watched him. I've never seen anything. Yeah. He used to run track.
No, I have
track in high school.
I have him at 6
and
in
win.
My rankings. And again, the only reason, I think receiving wise, I would go against what you're saying. I would say Kincaid's the best, Mayer's the second best. And you could probably make an argument that receiving wise, your boy's the third best. I just look at it like, okay, is he going to do enough in the blocking to be able to be on the field enough to make an impact receiving as much? So I see the other guys that I have on my list, that's the way I looked at it, is that they're going to be able to block enough while also being potentially elite receivers.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I just think if he goes somewhere right, like if he goes somewhere right, I mean, dude, he's huge. He's huge and he is fast as shit. So I'm curious. I'm really curious. And I feel like there's always I feel like there's always like some random tight end that's good. Like you know what I mean? I'm trying to think
there you go. Yeah.
Exactly. So that they're exactly. I'm even saying like, where did Kate Otten go? Where did Isaiah Likely go? Where did these guys? I know they're on my dynasty, but I'm just saying like.
Yeah.
So but I'm saying tight end. I feel like is a position that doesn't have to go to a massively big school. Like where'd George Kittle go? Okay, so there you go. So that's a big school.
Iowa.
Tight end U. Yeah, no, I know.
Wisconsin.
Mark Andrews went to Oklahoma.
I get what you're saying, though, because, you look at over the history, okay? You have guys like Jimmy Graham, didn't even play football. Played basketball.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's really what that's exactly what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, you can.
Exactly. That's what I'm more trying to get at. It's where I personally think that if he gets coached up, gets it, and I heard him speak on Good Morning Football, so maybe I'm a little biased, and I just watched him on the show, and he just seems like he's a good dude, and like literally they pulled it up on the show when he was on it. It's literally at the combine. It was first among tight ends.
I think was like 99.9 out of 10, or like
it's insane.
It was 9.99. Yeah, which is like the
out of 10. Yeah,
ever.
That's insane.
So,
that's literally insane.
Speaking of freaks, though, I do want to touch. Darnell Washington. That guy is going to get put in,
dude.
And I could probably watch just blocking videos of him blocking people at Georgia. I mean,
which is rare. It's like a Myles Garrett at the tight end position, like where it's just like you'd never seen anything that looks like that.
Catching 60 balls, like I don't. But I could see him having, a couple seasons sprinkled throughout his career where he has close to double-digit touchdowns. So
I was literally just about to say I could see double-digit touchdowns for sure.
Top 5. So, I could see him having those type of years. I just think that Mayer and Kincaid are going to step in wherever they're at, immediately be the tight end 1, and have potential to be top 10 fantasy tight ends early in their career, which is rare. You don't really see it much. You saw with Pitts one year and then he got hurt. You see it with Freiermuth. But other than that, there hasn't been many dudes that could step in immediately at the tight end position and produce fantasy stats and have the ability to.
Yeah, it's literally been Hawkinson, Pitts.
Yeah.
and Freiermuth at the young and I'm curious to see who does it. I'm curious to see if, and again, I know they're on my fantasy team, but they really are like the young tight ends. Like I just happen to have both of them. But I really could see both those guys, especially if Baltimore doesn't pick up another weapon. I could see him getting at least an uptick in volume a little bit, likely. But I'm curious. I'm curious to see because I feel like this tight end class could really maybe even change. Like I feel because what here's my opinion on the tight end stuff. There's I feel like the tight end position is now cool, essentially. Like over the last couple years, if you think about it. Exactly. So I think there's more kids, right? I think there's a lot of kids, especially Travis Kelce's podcast, how just big everything. Yeah. George Kittle's huge, just celebrity-wise, huge celebrity-wise, doing all these appearances on podcasts, stuff like that. So just in terms of how cool the tight end position is, I think there's a lot more kids. And even like the guys in this draft class, they probably, when they were younger, don't get me wrong, everybody wants to play quarterback, running back, wide receiver, of course. But I think there's more guys that are going to be like, oh, dang, I can make that money in the NFL playing tight end, and I'm this big, and I don't have to play D-line or I don't have to play offensive line, things like that. So I think we're going to see what you just said happen. I'm not saying it's going to be a regular occurrence of guys breaking into the top 15 in fantasy or top 15 just overall in tight ends. But I think we are going to see better and more guys wanting to play the tight end position.
No, for sure.
Because I think you're seeing it already. I think there's more teams now with 2 good tight ends on it that you know about compared to like in the past overall. So yeah, that's what I got. What else you got, man? I feel like that's the big summary. I'm hoping, I don't know about you with your Jets, but I'm hoping, the Steelers kind of just, play it smart. I hope they get an offensive lineman. I know that's not the exciting pick. Don't get me wrong. If they pick Jackson Smith and Jigba, I'll probably go nuts, but I do hope they just go offensive line.
Connor McGovern today. There's still talks about them going to get the Tennessee Titans center that they let go, Ben Jones, who could help solidify the line a little bit if they are able to get him. But I'm not going to lie. I would not be upset if they, at 15, are sitting there and Jackson Smith and Jigba's there, and they took him to put him with Garrett Wilson, Lazard, Corey Davis. Like, it would be fun. Now, again, I think they're going to go O-line because they want to solidify that, right? And I think with their second round picks and picks later, they're going to be able to get someone that could come in and contribute because we have our one. Like, I think that's pretty much hands down now. I think Garrett Wilson has a potential to go nuclear with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I think he's going to be top 10.
I could maybe. You saying fantasy wise? Yeah, no, I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. So, I'm curious to see what they do on Thursday night. I'm curious to see if Joe Douglas makes any other crazy moves like he did last year. I don't foresee that happening because I don't think this draft is that type of draft you do that. But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be fun, and I'm just happy that we got our dude. And I'm not totally off the Zach Wilson train either. I think this is actually, in terms of where we're at currently, this is the best spot that he could be in, where he gets to sit behind Rodgers. We'll get into that.
We'll get into that.
Again, if you're looking at like, okay, it's been not good to this point, but how we need to face that. But what's the best situation to address it and then move forward with potential for success? I think this is it. But we can get into more depth of that, throughout the offseason, pretty much whenever.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's definitely something that I think is going to be helpful. If he's got any chance to be something and to be the guy for, let's say, 20 from when he's 25 to when he's 35. Yeah, I think I think this is it. This is going to be your test run. And I'm curious, do they go to him after this?
That would be my thing is, obviously we're not in the building, but if you want to touch on this quick,
probably nobody knows. Yeah, nobody's going to know until after. Yeah.
They took him second overall. Whether you like it or not, which a lot of people love to hate on the dude, there's flashes. Like, there's flashes of things that, 90% of the quarterbacks in the NFL throws that they can't make that he can make. What needs to be reined in is the basic stuff. Is like just the little stuff.
Yeah, he's literally gotten away with
Right.
just literally launching balls
Right.
and guys being wide open and then them just being able to run under it. Now he has to make those throws to where if he misses his margin of error,
and even
he
too,
can't do that
if he hit
anymore.
freaking basic swing passes, which again is all stuff that I think can be fixed. And with having someone like Aaron freaking Rodgers in the building, that he can know going into this year, I'm not starting. But also, I'm not starting because I
Yeah,
have a top 5 quarterback of all time in the NFL starting on my team. So now let me sit back.
yeah.
Let me watch everything he does, absorb it all. And again, there's been a whole bunch of crap talked about him, that he doesn't prepare, he doesn't work hard. Total nonsense. Anyone in the know there knows that
Yeah.
that's not the issue.
Yeah.
That's not the issue at all.
Yeah. Yeah, if he doesn't do it after this, it'll go down as
For
one of the
sure.
worst draft picks ever. It'll go down as one of the worst draft picks ever if he doesn't do it after this. Because if you can't pick up a thing or two and get your shit together after watching Aaron Rodgers prepare and play and stuff like that.
And again, I don't think.
Yeah, and he'll be good too. I think Aaron Rodgers will be good. I think he'll be good. With Zach Wilson, I think he'll work with him. I think he'll be good with him.
Jordan Love at Utah State. Okay, you look at what he did at Utah State. Okay, now let's look at what Zach did at BYU against better competition than he did. Jordan Love at Utah State. Okay, so now you have Zach sitting back, and now this also comes down to, is he going to be the student that Jordan Love is? Because Jordan Love now coming in, all of a sudden you see him step in last year in games where Rodgers couldn't play, and Jordan Love looked freaking good. Which we'll see this year how he is in terms of when he gets the starting reins now. But I think you look at it from a talent perspective, I don't really think there's much debate. Zach Wilson's talent is better than Jordan Love's. So if he can sit back, absorb, and then apply, I think you could see someone that could then be the Jets quarterback. I'm not out on the guy. That being said, we'll see.
No, me either. We'll see. We'll see though, because it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I don't know because won't his option be up? Won't it be over?
Choose not to pick up his 5th-year option or what it would be, and then I guess whatever. But the way that it's looking is we don't know. Like, is Rodgers going to play 2 years? Is he going to play 1 year? Is he? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know. Ultimately, what it comes down to is I think this is the best situation that we can be in currently with the way that things have unfolded. And the bottom line is we have freaking Aaron Rodgers at quarterback now. So, like...
I can't believe that this happened today. Literally, it broke in the beginning of our... 8 minutes before our show that the trade happened.
Can't be upset. You're gonna get to...
No, wait. Just wait, dude. Just wait. You guys will F this up too somehow, but I don't know how. Like, it would be... If there's somebody who can do this, who can slay the dragon of the New York media.
You want to talk?
It's Aaron Rodgers.
It's Aaron Rodgers. TV and quality radio is going to be those interviews.
They got to be hard knocks. They're gonna be hard knocks, dude. That'd be sick.
How do you not pick them now?
I know they gotta be hard knocks. They gotta be hard knocks. Right. But all right, that's all we got. We almost went for 2 hours today. Draft special. Let's go. Good shit. I'm gonna be everybody. Everybody knows the deal. Whoever listens to this shitty show that we have. Should we start using the Pat McAfee method? Just call our show shitty. So. Appreciate everybody listening. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Arm Barn. Check it out everywhere. Use our mock drafts because why? Because we're the experts. Screw the people on ESPN. Screw the people on CBS. Screw the people on NFL Network. I'll debate with all of them. We're the experts.
Not even joking. Like, a lot of them are trash at their jobs, and it's amazing they even have them. So, like, you might as well just listen to 2 schmoes talking on this rather than the guy is getting paid, because at least we're not fake.
Agreed.
So
Yeah, at least we're just talking from right here. We don't got any agenda. We don't got nothing. We're just literally shooting shit, and this is what we think based on what we see. And guess what we do? We watch a shit ton of it. So that's what we got, everybody. Thanks for listening. See you next week.